Hello, hello. Welcome to episode 8 of The Missing Piece. And today we have a beautiful guest, Smriti Goswami. Thank you, Smriti, for being on and accepting my invitation to our
Thank,
beautiful show.
thank you so much, Reshma, for inviting me. And I'm really looking forward to being a part of this. I have no clue
And
what I'll be talking about, but I'm just so looking forward to it. So let's just get started. And yeah,
we will find out in about a few minutes what we're going to talk about because we never plan for what we speak on this show and we just follow the energy. And Smriti, firstly, I'd like to say that I've seen you. I've been I've I'm falling short of words to even talk about you because I've known you for 2 years, but we didn't interact as much as we have in the past 6 months, 8 months probably.
6 months,
And
I guess February onwards.
yeah, and I am super grateful because you've been a constant nudge in my world, and you're like you only push with one finger, but that one finger pushes enough for you to sort of bring about the change that I have been asking for a very very long time. So firstly, let me say that I'm super grateful for you and what you do on the planet.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Reshma. Thank you for
And
that.
you're most welcome. And I have very silently been observing you for a while, for even before I got in touch with you, and even before we got working together and stuff like that. And I've noticed that you don't talk as much to people you don't know. Maybe you do otherwise, but the warmth that you be in a space and the presence that you be is sort of a great invitation for people to approach you and to discuss whatever they'd like in their lives. So were you always like this, or did you take a lot of effort to be what you are, or like what were you like before Access?
I think I've always been like this. Yes, I
Okay.
take a long time to open up to people. I take a long time to make friends. But then, there are certain people you just click with, and
Yeah.
maybe they're just being that space. Most of the time, when people on their own come and start talking to me, and I just find myself getting along with them, and that's how it is. Mostly, I take a lot of time to sort of approach people, and yeah, I think I've always been like that. The reason being, now that I'm part of Access, I realize that I've always been very aware of people with what's going on for them, and
Yeah.
of the judgments that's going on, or wherever they're functioning from. I'm just so present and aware with that. And
Yeah.
that used to, at that moment, I didn't know what to do with that awareness, and I thought that was some sort of a wrongness that I had, and something's wrong with me. And but now I realize, okay, that's what it is. So I'm very aware of people.
Yeah,
Okay,
that is so
and
cool, right? Isn't that
yeah,
amazing?
yes, it is. It is, and also the fact that sometimes, most of the times, actually, when people start trying to put you down and things, that's what I'm really aware of, and that really gets to me. So it's because I'm a very different space where I'm like, oh, all right, how can we empower each other? It's not that I'm just looking at empowering someone else, but it's how can that person also empower me? It's I'm willing to receive that also. But that space of being there for everyone without sort of being high-handed and thinking, oh, this one needs help or that one needs help, but just that space of non-judgment is what I think I've always been like that.
That is
And
amazing.
I think it comes from my dad.
That
He's
is
always
so
been
cool.
like that.
Like, it's so cool to have awareness of the spaces that people function from and not get pulled into it at the same time,
Absolutely.
and not keep them at one hand distance, but do whatever you can and be whatever you can in those moments, and then just do your thing, right? Like how often we have like that one person in our life who we sort of can't make them happy no matter what you do, like that
Oh
one
yes.
person. And like it's like a constant struggle to keep that person happy. And more like I've also seen in my life and very close people's life that maybe the person changes but the traits don't change. Like there are three, like that one person, when that person falls out, there will be another person who replaces that person and has the same kind
Yeah.
of trait. What
So
do you have?
basically, what happens is you end up creating a pattern. So maybe in your childhood, if you've been struggling with something like this, where people in your childhood, it can be maybe your parents or the people you've been around, or maybe your cousins or even friends, if they've been that kind of a space where they keep on pulling you down, talking badly and stuff, or being mean and unkind, or when in school you tend to attract bullies, somewhere you need to acknowledge that you have a capacity where you can take on all that bullshit. Okay, you can. How many people are you actually protecting by taking on that bully? Okay, so it's not always about you. All right.
Okay.
Also, one more thing. There are times, so like I've really spent a large part of my life, working towards other people being happy with me
Oh
and
yeah.
being
Talk
really,
about
really
it.
kind. And,
Yeah.
and what if you actually start eliminating what the definition of kindness has to look like? What if the definition of kindness is all about uh, being present with someone and saying, okay, with whatever insanity that's going on for them, and still choosing for you? There are a lot of times when when you spoke about doing things for people and they're still being mean and unkind to you, no matter what you do, you can never make them happy. that's
Yeah.
that's the space I'm coming from, because they will keep on judging you constantly, but the reason they're judging you is to literally stop you. Okay,
So
they
Smriti,
don't
I
want
have
you.
a question there. But what do you do? Because I have a lot of friends and I have a lot of people in my life where their immediate family, where their parents or their mother-in-laws or or even a best friend or a brother is very nasty.
Yeah,
You cannot eliminate those people, so to say, right? Like, I mean, you can, it's a choice, but how many of us actually make that choice? We don't. We still
we
choose
don't.
to, yeah, we still choose to be a part of their life. So, is there a way to get around this? Is there a way to sort of, not be affected by them?
uh yeah. So the thing is, what you need to realize is, first of all, trust yourself and know what you're all about. Okay, value yourself. The the art, or actually to get people to change their attitude towards you, is to first be present with what you are and start valuing yourself. That really, and acknowledging your brilliance. Because what happens is, um, when you're choosing to be kind and being present with people, and in that moment, if you get that creating your life sort of the way you'd like to, would mean being an energy with the person that they're not going to like. Those 10 seconds, you get to still choose it for yourself. Okay, irrespective of whatever it will create in their world, they will choose to make you wrong for that. They might just start blaming you. They'll react, they'll get angry, they'll do all sorts of things, and they'll choose a whole lot of that, or they might not choose anything and they'll just give you that silent treatment. Okay,
Yeah.
both things are not fun. Okay, but
Yeah.
but
Silent
the thing.
treatment is one of those, the when my dad gives me the silent treatment, I'm like, oh my god, I'm disappointing him now. Oh, what do I do now? And it's so annoying. At the same time, it's just you push towards choosing what works for you, and then it still bothers. At least it bothers me even now. So
I
yeah,
know it does.
yeah,
So when you're choosing for you, when they're being all this energy, each of these energies, they're being like that to control you, to stop you. Okay. And what I've learned over time is that me choosing for myself, or someone sort of choosing to blame me for choosing something that might sort of upset them or topple their apple cart, has got nothing to do with me. They are just choosing to be that energy. And usually that stems from some sort of control, or it'll stem from, because somewhere you are uh, being, you are some way they are able to use you for whatever reasons, or you are of some use to them. So that's the reason they'd rather hold on to you and keep you limited. So you need to start seeing what's going on. I'm not saying you need to start separating, but just choose to be aware where each person is functioning from, and without cutting yourself short. You choosing for you, if it is upsetting other people's apple cart, it's not your problem. That's their problem. Okay? Because someone who's...
Yeah, sorry. Go on.
Go ahead.
So you put it so beautifully, Smriti, that people choose what they choose because they can choose it. It has absolutely nothing to do with you or your choices or what you mean to them.
Also, also the thing is, like a bold truth is, as soon as you tend to buy into whatever insanity that they're creating around you, where they're trying to make you wrong, that's when they actually have you. All right, now they have control over you.
Yeah.
So now they'll get you to do whatever they want you to do, which is not really step up or just be, as long as you're suiting their purpose in life, that's what matters. Beyond that, there is just a farce of care and stuff. That's something that I'm very aware of, and that doesn't work for me.
Yeah.
Okay, so I usually come across as very aloof and not really interacting too much with people, but certain things, it's not fun for me to deal with these kind of energies. And you tend to think everybody is like you. So whatever space you're operating from, so others are also like that. But I think I've had an experience with a whole lot of people where they've been a weird energy. And one thing that something I'd like to share. So I went through a process where somebody who I thought was a very good friend really, really, really invalidated me. Like, she vilified me, spoke a lot about me. She even wrote something dedicated one entire chapter in her book, vilifying me, and filling that chapter with lies, which was really amazing, because since it's written in a book, everybody will think, wow, that's the truth. Right. And unfortunately, the person she was referring to, or with regards to whatever she was talking about, that person is no longer alive to sort of talk about it and sort out whatever. So when I read that, and when throughout, it was like for over 3 years, constantly somebody being that energy of trying to pull you down, trying to talk against you, speak against you, or build up false stories and false narratives about you. How many people will you keep going to and telling them, hey, this is not the truth? Okay. So finally, I decided, thankfully I'd done the foundation class by then. And after that, I was like, you know what? People who really care about me know me for what I am. Okay? Irrespective of whether they're willing to stand up for me or not, it doesn't matter. If they are there for me, if they're choosing to be for me, it's okay. Because, certain people have that major aura and they have that control where they will not sort of let anybody else also take up for you. So I've had a lot of people sending me personal messages, even to wish me on my birthday. They would send me personal messages instead of wishing on Facebook or anywhere else, not because that they personally care so much, but because someone else might not like. They don't want to upset that particular person. So I've been through all that, and I've just been quietly observing. And I was like, that's really interesting. Thankfully, Foundation gave me that space where I was like, I'm not getting caught up and pulled into this drama and trauma anymore. And because someone was being this energy, today I'm really grateful for that person, because that made me keep on choosing more and more and more. Because sometimes when you tend to put people up on a pedestal and you feel they are the world, they are the ultimate, then when you're choosing more for yourself, you keep trying to be one step less than them. So you will not go beyond them, because, they will not like it.
Yeah. So Smriti, I have a question there. So when people, and you told me that, like you just mentioned that people, close friends, wished you on your birthday on a personal message, but wouldn't say anything in a public space or a public platform. So is that truly really caring for you? Is that truly having your back? Is that really,
They are somewhere, I won't say they have my back, but somewhere they are, in a way, silently, quietly letting me know that they do care, but they don't have the courage to stand up for me in public. Do you get it?
Yeah.
So sometimes that also shows up. And it's okay. What if we didn't judge them? And what if we were actually grateful for them at least choosing to take that one step to let you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah. But
Right?
I mean, don't we say that not speaking up when there is abuse happening is also being a part of the abuse?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And
It
I mean,
is.
this is something that irks me. Like, if you're not going to stand up right now, when will you stand up? Like, are you going to wait for the person to be killed or raped or, abused really in a more gruesome manner for you to even voice your word? I mean, I don't think that works for me. Well, too many point of
It,
views there for me. So
it's
I'm going to,
basically not having enough courage to
yeah,
talk about it,
yeah, yeah.
especially when it comes to someone else, where you just stand by, like on the sides, just watching what's going on. Sometimes you really need to show that. But this wasn't like a war, or it wasn't some sort of a murder or anything. This was just somebody bullying
It
very
wasn't
badly.
either. I second that. And however, I'm sure that you've been dealing with the kind of, invalidation, which is, at least I've been invalidated too for a very, very long time and by very close people. And because, I stopped doing things for them. I stopped because it didn't work for me anymore. Like, I felt almost like they were just taking and they were taking and they were taking, and I was getting sucked dry. And when I stopped doing, then they sort of invalidated my whole being and they started saying a lot of things about me. And that was like a wake up call for me. Or like, hey, hello, what? Like, I was here doing everything, and that time it was okay. And
That's
so
the time. That's the time to literally step up. So how much some people, actually most people, and I've noticed this about myself also. So I end up creating some people invalidating me or being that weird energy of vilification, and then I use that entire force to propel me further. Like an arrow can only be shot forward once you pull it back.
yeah,
Sometimes, so how much are you actually creating that subconsciously in your space so that you can literally choose to leave?
yeah,
I
yeah,
realized so because I was noticing the pattern. Okay,
yeah.
it so I kept creating certain kind of people who were doing that. Also, what happens is, like one of the conversation that I had with someone, he mentioned that, how much are you using invalidation and vilification as a fuel to fire your creations or to leap even more,
Right.
right? So that's one of the things. um,
So
I
how did you
I know.
finally get around this, Smriti, where you, I mean, I'm guessing you don't have people invalidating you as much as earlier. So how did you get around breaking that pattern? How did you? Uh,
So once it happened a couple of times, I think for me, at least about 3 times in the past 3 years. Okay. People, especially, so I've dealt mostly, it's happened mostly with friends for me. Okay.
hmm,
Not so much with family or anything, but mostly with friends and different sets of friends. And when it happened for the third time, I was like, okay, the one thing that changed it for me was, being willing to lose everyone. That thing of letting go. If they are choosing to be this energy, I don't really need to be with them. It's about valuing myself. Okay. So, we tend to keep holding on to people because we really care. We don't want to lose them. So we keep on we are silent about how they're being with us, and we just sort of sideline it and not really address it. That doesn't work anymore. Okay. So I decided that one day, when there was this whole group of people who I've been really, really close to, we've known each other for years, that
hmm,
set of friends, when they chose to be that energy with me, I was like, you know what? Even if there's nobody standing there for me, am I willing to have my back? Am I willing to be there for myself? And that one decision just changed everything for me. Because even if nobody else has my back, I have my back. Okay. Even if nobody is willing to talk to me, I'll be there for myself. And I
yeah,
will create, and I will not stop. And I will keep on choosing more and more and more. Okay. That, when you're willing to lose people and things, then they don't have any control over you. So that one decision really opened up so much of space. I won't say it was easy because it did hurt quite a bit. And I did have my moments of weakness and feeling bad and, feeling really sorry for myself. You go through those phases. But the thing
Yeah.
is, the moment you choose to be there for yourself or be that voice of empowerment for yourself, that's
Yeah.
the game changer.
Yeah. So
To choose.
it's not so much about other people standing up for you. I mean, it would be great if we do have people who truly have our back, but it's always about having your own back and standing up for yourself and having the courage to stand it between people even when they do not approve or validate you. It's
Absolutely.
it's
So
all about that. And I remember, Smriti, like back in February when we met, like I was at the lowest at that point of time, and you've literally helped me through that, and I'm truly very, very grateful for you and what, like, those 3 days of business done different with you and my choices to create that with you. And that moment, right, when you know that it got to be here for these 3 days, and you do it no matter what it looks like and how it looks like. And it was like that actually gave me a jump start once again, because the past 3 months before that was really tough for me. And your class was literally a jump start for me to choose my life once again. And I haven't stopped, and I've messaged you a couple of times in the past 6 months saying, hey, thank you.
yes, I've really seen you grow by leaps and bounds. And how does it get any better than this?
Truly.
Seriously, it really, when your class participants start creating and literally leaping forward, that's that space because that's what you work for. Okay,
Yeah.
that's what gives you a high.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
thank you so much for choosing.
Thank you for being there, and thank you for genuinely being happy for me. Like I say that, I don't want to say it's less. There is a lot of that in the world, and I'll have more of that. But you're truly an invitation to that. So there's something that I'd like to talk about, is that very often, wh- like, how do I say this? So what happens is, you said that you're aloof, and you don't talk as much. But what happens is, people assume that when you do not talk as much or you do not engage, you sort of cut off your receiving. And they tend to start doing things that they don't want to do because they have a point of view about receiving. You know what? Do you understand what I mean by that?
But where have you decided receiving has to look a particular way?
Yeah.
Okay, how much can just that presence, that silent space way of empowerment that you are? What if that is an invitation for people to come to you
Yeah.
or for you to receive from also?
Yeah. So
It's,
if
I
you're
mean,
not a person who
what
actively goes out and talks or whatever, it's still okay to be the way you are. And
your presence will invite people. Your presence will be an invitation. And if you want an example, you came to me.
yeah, I did.
You've been observing me. I hadn't really had enough time to even talk to you or anything, but you were. I mean, I was somewhere in your awareness,
Yes.
just the space that I'm being, right? Yes, I know we need to engage more, but what if we didn't have to define it?
Yeah. Yeah.
What if you being you is an invitation? Like I always give that example of a lighthouse. The lighthouse doesn't go to different ships to let them know that, hey, this side is a shore. It's just standing there with that beam on,
Yeah.
beaming lights towards the ships, and the ships notice where the lighthouse is, and the ships come to shore because of that. So, are you
Yeah.
willing to be that energy without deciding that if I'm not doing this, I'm not good enough, or if I'm not doing this, how will people know about me? What if it's not about that? The energy that you're being, just your presence, is going to create. Yes, I'm not denying that you shouldn't be talking to people. Of course, you should be. Okay,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
that's
But
something I really have to work towards. But that's also a space which is out of my comfort zone. I will try that also, but
also not from a
if I
space
didn't,
of forced effort, I guess. It like, one moment at
from
a time, one step at a time, and not a forced effort ki mujhe like, I have to do it. And I don't think that creates, as much.
Also, so when I interact with people, it is not from a space of pulling them to attend my classes or anything. It's more from a space of, hi, just being there with them.
Yeah.
So maybe that's the reason I don't have to. That's why I don't have a point of view that if I am not engaging with certain people, why will they come to attend my classes? Maybe that's why I don't look at people as potential customers. So so I guess that's where it is, because when I connect with people, it's instantaneous. It's right there. I'm there, but I don't go seeking people to come to attend something that I have to offer. So I guess that is a difference. I guess I just realized that while talking to you.
Yeah, that's amazing, isn't it? Like, you don't. It's so funny when you're talking to somebody and the hidden agenda is, okay, I need to pull this person for my class. And I mean, what makes us think that people aren't aware of that? Like
Absolutely,
I'm sure
that is that pushing energy which is there. And also, frankly, if somebody is choosing a class with me, I would rather that they want to attend it, because that's when they're willing to literally step into that change and go rise by leaps and bounds. So that's, for me, that is more important.
Yeah.
Than just another name to the thing. So just I guess different perspectives of inviting people.
Absolutely. And I still remember when back in Jan, I think I reached out to you saying, hey, can I host you for the BDD and can I be a part of the creation team? And I mean, it was such a beautiful creation, how it all fell into sort of, place.
And last minute.
Last minute, right? And it's you never know what you create with your presence, with the engagement, and how it shows up. And it's so beautiful. And coming back to a conversation with the relationship bit also, you never know what conversation or your presence in somebody's life, what that creates. And it's never from a space of, I want this person to be a part of my life forever, or he or she is so beautiful, let me hold on to that person. It never really works. It's
when you are being there, so when you're being there just as a space of empowerment, then it doesn't, you don't need to hold on to people. They'll be there for you all the time. For most people, holding on to someone means you have to sort of trap them, fit them in that box, and just leave them there and not let them grow, because what if they escape? So most of the times, even in marriages, most husbands would not like their wife to create more than them, because at least in India, that's what happens very often. Because what if they start earning more than the husbands, and what if they don't have any control over their wives anymore? So they will keep on, they'll create a whole lot of situation, quite a lot of mess in the family, in like daily fights and all, just to keep them limited.
Yeah.
So that is something I experience quite a bit with the class participants who show up. There's lots that happens there.
So what do you suggest to anybody who's actually dealing with something like that?
So one thing that this line that I'd read somewhere, and it just stayed with me. So when someone gives you a box full of darkness, because how do they do that? Especially spouses or even boyfriends or someone, they will try to invalidate you. The moment they feel that you're slipping away from them, they will try their best to invalidate you and pull you down, right? So when someone gives you a box full of darkness, please realize that is also a gift. And that's the time for you to choose to outcreate, step up, claim and acknowledge your potency. Okay.
Yeah.
So if you feel put down, use that as a way to step up. Okay. Use that energy to become that change.
Yeah.
That force to be that force of unstoppable.
Yeah.
To be limitless, to keep choosing no matter what. And again, that fear of not losing someone is what really keeps you bound to things. The moment you're willing to let go of people and you don't fear losing them, they will still be there for you, but from a space of empowering you instead of pulling you down.
Yeah, true that. So, I mean, I am reminded of our class back in February where you said, Reshma, have your back, have your back. I think the most spoken sentence was to acknowledge you and have your back. Like those were the two
Yeah.
sentences Smriti
And
kept.
3 days of that, like all the time.
There was no escaping that from you, and I'm so grateful. And I don't think I'm yet there. However, I have a, you know, they say, when you get a taste of a good dish, it's very difficult to not have that as a part of your meal. And it's similar to
Absolutely.
that. It's similar to that. The moment I got a taste of what having my back looked like and felt like, and how empowering it is to truly have my back and to keep going, even if, okay, there's a day of lull, even then you get up the next day and you keep going one step at a time. And thank you for being that invitation, Shruti. Like, I can't start to tell how freaking grateful I am. And I don't think I've said that in words as many times to you. But I am freaking grateful for you and your presence and just
Thank you
being there.
so much. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Even like I think if I'm today, like, so everybody who doesn't know, I'm attending the CF training in Costa Rica right now. Today's the last day, and even me getting here, you have certainly played a role in giving that push and saying, "Hey, Reshma, start creating for you, start creating and start creating." And oh God, I am so grateful for you, Smriti, and all that you do. And yeah,
Thank you, Reshma. Thank you so much. And I'm also very grateful for you and all that you're creating. And it's such a pleasure to just see you moving, choosing more and more and more. And choosing CF is a big deal. And all the best. That's like that. The moment you send me a message, and I was like, oh my God, how does it get any better than this? So that
yeah.
space of just choosing, leaping is what really energizes me also. Like that's and hopefully when you're conducting classes, whatever you've received, that the space of empowerment is what you'll be also as a CF. So all the best for that.
Thank you so much, and Smriti, thank you
I
so
know
much for
you'll
the.
be that. So I know you'll be that. So
Thank you, Smriti. Thank you so much. And thank you so much for this conversation. And everybody who's watching us, thank you so much for staying on. I hope this conversation has contributed to you. And we'll be back with another episode with another guest next Tuesday. So thank you, Smriti, for being on. And thank you, guys. See you.
thank you guys. Thank you everyone. Bye.